The psychology of life, hidden truths we never notice. Arif sat by the train window, watching the rain streak across the glass as the city blurred past him. He had always preferred window seats, especially when traveling alone. Something about staring at the outside world in silence made him feel at peace. He had once read that people who prefer the window seat and enjoy solo travel often like to be alone with their thoughts. Maybe that was true for him. Across the aisle, a young woman scrolled through her phone, her fingers tapping restlessly. She looked exhausted, dark circles under her eyes, a slight slump in her posture. Arif had read somewhere that lack of sleep and irregular sleeping patterns could lead to premature death. Was she even aware of how much her lifestyle was affecting her? Probably not. Most people didn't notice until it was too late. As he turned back to the window, memories surfaced, ones he had tried to push away. There was a time when he trusted people too easily, shared his deepest fears and insecurities, only to be betrayed. He now lived by a rule: never share your top secrets or weaknesses, no matter how well you know someone. It wasn't about being paranoid. It was about survival. A sudden burst of laughter caught his attention. A man a few seats away was chuckling at something on his phone, yet his eyes told a different story. The laughter seemed forced, almost hollow. Arif recalled reading that people who smile too much are often hiding deep emotional pain. He had seen it before, how some of the happiest-looking people carried the heaviest burdens. His phone vibrated in his pocket, and his heart skipped a beat. He pulled it out, hoping for a message from someone special. Nothing. It had been 3 days, 72 hours of silence. He sighed. Psychologists say that not speaking to someone you love for more than 48 hours can make you feel homesick. He understood that now. She wasn't just a person in his life, she was his sense of home. Shaking his head, he turned to his book but found himself unable to focus. His mind wandered back to another painful truth he had learned the hard way: when you are ignored by someone you care about, your brain reacts the same way as it does to physical pain. He had read it in a psychology journal, but he didn't need science to tell him what he already felt. A vendor walked through the aisle, selling snacks and chocolates. Arif watched as a couple giggled while sharing a bar of chocolate. He smirked. Chocolate releases the same chemicals in the brain as falling in love. Maybe that's why people gifted chocolates on special occasions. It wasn't just about taste, but the feeling it evoked. A random thought crossed his mind, making him chuckle. Being an adult is eating the crust, not because you like it, but because you paid for it. He remembered his childhood, when he would leave the crust on his plate, only for his mother to scold him about wasting food. Life had a way of changing people. He glanced at the man sitting next to him, engaged in a conversation with the woman beside him. The man's eyes blinked rapidly as he spoke, a telltale sign of nervous excitement. Arif remembered reading that if someone is attracted to you, their blinking rate increases during conversation. Did she notice? Probably not. Some things were so subtle that people missed them completely. As the train continued its journey, Arif absent-mindedly scrolled through social media. He wasn't really looking for anything, just killing time. But then he realized, people in a bad mood tend to scroll through social media looking for others who are doing worse than them. Was that what he was doing? Searching for something that would make him feel better by comparison? His phone buzzed with a notification from an old friend. He smiled. They had been friends since they were 18. Friendships that start between the ages of 16 and 28 are more likely to last a lifetime. Maybe that was true. Despite everything, some bonds never faded. A woman entered the train at the next stop and took a seat near the door. She looked drained, her eyes tired, her shoulders slumped. Arv remembered reading that lonely people often take long, hot showers or baths to compensate for the emotional warmth they lack in life. Did she do the same? He had, many times. He had once heard that comedians and funny people are often the most depressed. It made sense. Sometimes, the people who made the world laugh were the ones who cried alone at night. The train's PA system announced the next station. As he stretched his legs, he thought about another interesting fact he had come across. Being alone weakens the body, but having friendship strengthens it. Maybe that was why humans were wired for connection. Even those who claimed to love solitude needed someone, at least occasionally. His grandfather's words echoed in his mind, "Life is beautiful. One day, 1 hour, 1 minute, it never comes back. Don't waste it on anger or regret." Arv smiled. The old man had always been full of wisdom. A couple of teenage boys sitting nearby were deep in conversation about relationships. One of them said, "Dating someone closer to your own age is better because you have more in common and equal power." Arv wondered if that was true. Age gaps could create imbalances, but weren't maturity and understanding more important? His gaze drifted outside as the train slowed. He had once read that we never realize the value of someone until they become a memory. That hit him harder than he expected. He had lost people he thought would always be there. Maybe it was time to stop taking things for granted. As he got up to leave, he hesitated for a second before unlocking his phone. He stared at the contact name for a while before finally pressing the call button. The phone rang once, twice. His heart pounded. "Hello?" Her voice was soft, hesitant. He smiled. "You know, psychologists say that when someone is always on your mind without any communication, it means they are thinking of you too." A pause. Then, a small laugh. "Is that so?" "Yeah," he said, stepping onto the platform. "And I think we should stop letting silence get between us." As he walked into the city, he remembered one last psychological fact: forcing yourself to smile, even when you don't feel like it, can actually make you feel better. So, he did. And for the first time in a long while, he felt lighter. If you found value in this video, be sure to subscribe to Quotes Tree for more insights into relationships, psychology, and personal growth.